there was a boy that came from a very wealthy family. And this boy, he went and he decided that he is, making his money on his own. He didn't want to go, and he didn't want to make money from his, from his father. So he goes and he tells his father, he comes 21 years old, and he says, Dad, he says, I'm going to make money on my own. I'm out of here. He moves out of the house, packs up all his bag, moves into the city. Problem was, he didn't have a place to stay. He was 21, didn't really think too much in the future. So he's like, the first thing I'll do is let me try to find a job. And he goes from place to place trying to find a job, but no one wants to hire him. He has no education on, in anything that they wanted to hire him for. He had no skills. He had nothing. He came from a very posh, wealthy family, but he didn't know anything. So nobody hired him. So days and days and days, he's searching for a job. He can't find anything. So he had nothing else to do, and he didn't have any money to go and rent an apartment. He ended up sleeping in a park bench. And he's sleeping on the park bench with all his stuff. And a few days go by, and there's a guy that walks by, sees him. He says, what's going on? What's up with you? He's like, this is, it's like, welcome to my home. This is my home. What can I tell you? He says, why don't you, why don't you go to your house? He says, I don't have a house. I said, why not? He says, I'm trying to find a job. I couldn't find a job. So the guy looks at it and has pity at him. He says, listen, he says, I was looking for a dog walker, and if you go and you walk my dog, I'll give you 3 meals a day, and I'll let you stay. I have a guest house. You can stay in my guest house. So the boy was very appreciative. He says, of course I'll do it. The boy ends up walking his dog for 4 times a day, because the guy was very obsessive about that. Walked for a little bit. At the end of the day, he was working for less than an hour, and this guy was providing him a roof over his shoulder. This guy was providing him 3 meals a day. Now, without the stress of having to find an apartment, this boy was able to go and try to find a job. He started going from place to place searching for a job, and he couldn't find anything. Finally, he ended up going to low-paying jobs. He went into a certain pizza store, and he said, listen, could I, maybe you need some worker for something? And the guy says, yeah, we need, we need a worker for some, little jobs. And he says, fine, I'll take it. And he starts working, getting paid bupkis. And all of a sudden, the owner of the pizza store goes over to him and says, you know what? I see you're doing your work so well. I'm going to give you a promotion. And he makes him, instead of just washing the dishes, now he's also in charge of like the fries or something like very, very small. But he gives him, instead of, he was making $10 an hour, now he's making $55 an hour. Like a crazy, crazy promotion. But this boy didn't think anything else. So he thought, okay, whatever, my luck. Now he was making $55 an hour, cleaning the floors a little bit and, stirring some fries on the fryer. Now he was making a significant amount of money for what he needed, and he was living, rent-free, that he started saving some money, and he was able to go and move out on his own. And slowly, the pizza owner slowly gave him more and more promotions. But promotions that, like, if you would have looked at it from outside, didn't make any sense. But he kept on just like giving promotions. Okay, now you're in charge of actually the oven. Now you're getting paid $100 an hour. And he was getting paid like crazy money for little tasks. And he was saving the money until the time came that he felt, you know what? He says, I know everything about the pizza business. Let me open my own pizza business. So he had some money saved. He goes and he couldn't find the location in a prime area. So he went to a little bit of the sketchy part of town, and he rented a place, and he invested some money, and he opened up a pizza store. Problem is that nobody walked into this pizza store. It was in the wrong part of town. He didn't have a lot of foot traffic. The location was terrible. And he had, a few customers a day at best. One day, he's losing money head over. He's bleeding money. Forget about losing money. And one day, this guy goes in, and he tastes his pizza, and he says, wow, this pizza is delicious. He says, I've never had such a delicious pizza before. He says, tell me. He says, I want to become partners with you. He says, over here, you're not going to make any money. He says, let's join business ventures together, and I will go and I will get you a prime location, and this way you're going to be able to go, and you're going to be able to make so much more money. And the guy says, yeah, of course, I've been struggling, I'm looking to take on a business partner. So he goes and he takes on this partner, and they open up in a prime location, and this business partner goes and hires some high-end chefs, and meanwhile the business starts booming. And people start coming in and be like, wow, this pizza is the best pizza we ever had. And he was making so much money. And then in a short period of time, he decided he's going to open up another location. And he opened up his second pizza store. And within 3 years, he had 5 pizza stores making a ton of money. Now, he hasn't spoken to his parents, to his family in 3 years. Now he's starting to think, he says, you know what? He says, maybe I should write to my parents. I haven't spoken to them in so long. So he takes out a pen and paper and he writes to his father. And he says, I wanted to just, after all the greetings and the regular, hi hellos that a son would say to his father, he says, I wanted to just tell you, Dad, that after 3 years of being away from you, I've made my own fortune. He says, I didn't need any help from you. I didn't need any help from my brothers. I was able to go and build a corporation. I have 5 pizza stores under me in just 3 years. And I just wanted to tell you, I wanted to show you that hard work, perseverance, that is the key for success. You don't need a rich father. You don't need family money to make money. And he sends in this letter to his father. A few days later, he receives his father's response. And the father's response is, my precious son, says, I'm so happy that you're doing well. And I feel that it's my obligation to tell you of what really happened. And the father goes on and writes in the letter, says, do you ever wonder why a total stranger found you on a park bench and let you stay in their guest house for just walking their dog and gave you 3 meals a day for just walking their dog? He says, I sent that man after you to look for you. And when he found you, I told him, I set up a superficial or a fictional, character that this was man, and I gave him a dog, and he went and he produced this whole just to go and give you a roof over your shoulder and to give you some food. And when you got the job at the pizza store, he says you were making $10 an hour. He says I went over and I told the pizza owner, I says I'm going to pay the $10 an hour, but I'm going to pay him another $50 on top of that. Just give him a little promotion, make him think that it's coming from you. Because I was paying your salary in the pizza store because I wanted to go and boost you up. Nobody makes $55 an hour from moving some fries in a fryer, for sweeping up some dirt. And it says not only that, when you opened up the store, it says you weren't going to fail. There was no way you were going to succeed over there. So I send a different guy to your store and say, you know what, let's move you to a prime location. And he moved you to a prime location. But the problem was that the pizza wasn't that good. He says, so I went and I had the guy go and hire some, high-end chefs to go and produce good pizza. And then I went and I paid customers to come in and go and patronize you on how good your pizza is. He says, you think you put your money in your own pocket? He says, my dear son, he says, it wasn't your hard work that earned you your money. It was your loving father who will always be there for you that set all this up. Many times we think that we made it in business. We got into business, we built a large corporation. And we feel this is our, we worked so hard. And there are many, I have to be careful how I say this, because there are many good things that come out of it. Where you have these Kirov organizations that go and they will get CEOs of certain companies to come in and talk to kids in public school, like religious CEOs, to come talk to kids in public school. Look, you could still be a religious person and still be a large CEO. You're still able to have a large corporation and make a lot of money. And sometimes, I can't say all the times, the business owners, they come in and be like, you know what? Yeah, we studied the market, we went and we worked hard and we did everything that we're supposed to, and that's why we made the money. And the answer is that is true to a certain extent, but the real lesson that has to be, conveyed to these kids is that at the end of the day, it's God. It's all Hashem that gave us everything. It's nothing else. It's not this boy's, pizza store dream to open up that he was successful. No, it had nothing to do with that. It was because he had a loving father that gave him and sent him all the business his way. And so to us, whatever we have, wherever we're working, if we are successful, then we have to think about it for a second and realize that it's all from Hashem. It's all from God. It's not our ideas. It's not our understanding on it. It's not our education that gave us this. It's all 100% from Hashem.